Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Mytek Liberty DAC II, and these are my honest audiophile impressions. The Mytek Liberty DAC was my reference DAC of choice for 3 years. I used the Liberty DAC for 3 years as my reference to do reviews and comparisons. Every single piece of gear that came into the office for review was listened to on the Mytek or compared to the Mytek Liberty. All headphones and IEMs were played on the Mytek Liberty. All amplifiers were sourced from the Mytek Liberty. And all DACs were compared to the Mytek Liberty DAC. I trusted the Mytek Liberty DAC because, to my ears, it had the most natural and neutral reproduction of sound that I could afford in my budget. The Mytek Liberty DAC was not only my reference piece of gear, but it was also my personal everyday piece of gear. I used it every single day. How does the Liberty DAC II compare? Does it exceed the original? Does it do things better, worse, on the same? Let's talk about it. So, the Mytek Liberty DAC II, it'll set you back $1,500 from your bank account, and it looks pretty much the same as the original. It says Mytek on the bottom, has the vent that is punched out in the shape of an M. Same thing on the bottom, and has a cool looking front that is slightly different than the original. Now the original had LED lights running along the bottom and then a headphone output in your volume pot. This one has a whole lot more information here in the middle. It'll tell you what your sources are, what your bit rates are, and all kinds of information, and you get some cool coloring in it. You do have a power on button and a selector. So press and hold that little button, it'll turn it on or turn it off, and then tapping it will change your source. Alps potentiometer for a volume knob, and clicking it will mute or unmute. 1/4 inch output has 3 watts at 0.1 output impedance. On the back side, you have your power supply input, your 2 coaxial spit-offs in, Toslink optical input, USB input, AES EBU input, and then XLR output and RCA output. Pretty much looks the same, has a few differences with the XLR outputs instead of the TRRS, and the multifunction volume knob is not as multifunctional as it was in the original. Also, another thing, the LEDs, you don't get all the cool coloring that you used to when you change the volume, but you do still have an LED ring, and it changes as you go up or down on the volume knob and intensity, but it's only white. Do wish I had colors kind of like the original. Other than that, this is pretty much the same. On the inside, you get some extra information, extra gear that wasn't in the original, like a 60 watt linear toroid with automatic voltage switching. You also have 10 PS of jitter, low noise. It has various other things. I'm going to put the link down below for Mytek, and you can explain it all for you a whole lot better than I ever will. On the inside, this has a upgraded Sabre DAC chip of an ES9038. It's capable of 32.384 and native DSD up to 256 and DXD and MQA. If you're using anything but PCM, so if you're using the AES EBU, SPDIF, coax, Toslink, optical, you'll get up to 192 kilohertz and DSD 64, also MQA. Overall, it has everything that you need in order to have a plug-and-play DAC amp and get quality sound. As I said, $1,500. I want to thank my YouTube members and patrons for helping to fund the purchase of the Mytek Liberty DAC II. Without support of the channel, I would not be able to get reference gear or gear to review on this channel without support. And so I truly do appreciate the love and kindness and the support that the patrons and also YouTube members have provided to the channel. And I do greatly appreciate it very much. If you're interested in becoming a patron or a YouTube member, there are links down below. Also, if you haven't already, give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Mytek Liberty DAC II. It has plenty of power for most gear. I was able to drive all the headphones that I have here except for the 600 ohm Barodynamics, and it played well with planars. I had no problems whatsoever with my Rawson Rad Zero, the Hifi Aria Stealth, the Anandas, LCD2 Close from Aueze, Mr. Speaker's Ether Cs, you name it, any of the planars, it ran it just fine. Dynamics, no problems whatsoever. HD 600, 660Ss, Sennheiser 8XX, all of those ran very easy and just dandy. Had no problems whatsoever running gear. IEMs, it does well. It is a little bit higher of an output impedance, so it does well with like planar IEMs and some IEMs, but every now and then you'll come across a super sensitive IEM, which it'll hiss on, so you have to use like an IFI IE match. Other than that, I had no problems whatsoever using the Mytek Liberty DAC with anything that I have here in-house. How does it sound? The Mytek Liberty DAC II has a very clean and clear, precise, accurate, natural, and neutral sound. Bass has good dynamics to it, has a really nice punch and slam, very good, just visceral energy. It has a lot of R to it without being excessive, without being too exuberant. It has the proper amount. In my opinion, the Mytek Liberty DAC reproduces the bass the way it should be. And even though I wasn't present when the recordings were made, it's the way that I would think that it's intended to sound. It does a proper reproduction of bass. It has good space. It has good power, and it just a very good note weight and presentation that sounds proper. The mids, same as the bass, very clean, clear, and proper. Everything sounds accurate, natural, and it has a good body weight to it, and everything just seems like it's where it's supposed to be. And it just moves along the stage and works together without having any issues, without getting jumbled or mumbled or any gibberish. It works proper. And everything just sounds accurate and true. Going into the treble, the same thing. It has sparkle, it has energy, it has a natural approach to things. When it's bright or hot, or when it's a little bit intense, the treble is there. And it reproduces it in a way that sounds accurate to real life. And the word that I would use to describe the overall presentation of the Mytek Liberty DAC is alive. It makes things come alive. It sounds proper, accurate, and true. It has a neutral but natural approach to things. And when you use your ears in the real world, and then you listen to the Mytek Liberty DAC II, you're like, wow, this is really good. Extremely close to what you get in the real world. Soundstage is nice and wide and accurate. It doesn't overemphasize width. So if something is small and intimate, it can do that. If it's big and expansive, it can do that. Depth is exceptional with layering that just kind of moves and everything just kind of works together. It does not get confused whatsoever, no matter how busy the track. Everything just works proper. Mytek Liberty DAC, in my opinion, is the most exceptionally accurate, natural, and neutral sounding DAC amp. When I compared it to the original, listened to the original, then I connected this DAC II, and I was like, whoa. As good as I thought the original was, the Liberty DAC II exceeds it in every single way. It's more detailed, better resolving, more natural and neutral. It has an ability to make everything sound alive. I am just blown away each and every day when I listen to the Liberty DAC II. As much as I enjoyed for 3 years the original, I enjoy the Liberty DAC II even more. This is my reference DAC amp. If you're looking for a neutral and natural, accurate reproduction of sound, the Mytek Liberty DAC II. I have nothing more to say about the Mytek Liberty DAC II other than moi. It's that good. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already checked those off, then don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there about how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel, all that kind of stuff, along with gear recommendations, music recommendations, and all kinds of other things. It's been a great time explaining why the Mytek Liberty DAC II is my reference DAC amp, and why I enjoy the music and that honesty is the best policy.